made some progress. Don't let it scare you. All right, and there it is, all installed and tucked away. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day as always. In today's video, we are going to install and hardwire a GKU dashcam, the D600 Pro. So if you've caught some of my other videos I've done with them, they have been gracious enough to send me out a couple of different dash cams to test over the past several months. We did a video on their D700 two-channel dash cam, 4K capabilities, and it performed flawlessly, no problems whatsoever. And they just sent out the D1000 three-channel dash cam, so 4K front, 1080p interior, and 1080p out the rear as well. And it's been performing flawlessly. If you followed along or watched any of those videos, they are super budget-friendly, high-quality dash cams. We haven't had an ounce of trouble out of any of them. I'll leave all the links down below. If you want to check out those install videos, it has the real-world examples and testing and everything, shows you the video quality, how they function, the apps. They have wonderful apps that hook from your smartphone to these cameras to get the videos and what not off of them. Everything has worked great, but again, they've sent us out this one and their hardwire kit. They wanted us to show you guys how you can install these and hardwire them so you can get rid of the plug-in to your power outlet and the wires and everything. And also, these cameras have 24/7 parking monitor capability. So if you hardwire them in, they can have continuous power and run 24/7, and that way it's monitoring everything that's going on around your vehicle in case there's something going on that you need to capture. I suggest everybody has a dash cam, whether it's this company or somebody else. Again, we've had great success with GKU on multiple cameras and installs, no problems. If we do have any questions, they've been super quick to answer through emails, and communications are great with them. So again, check them out. Leave all the links down below for you, but let's show you what we got on the bench and what we're going to do today. And as always, we're super grateful for you guys being here. Please click the thumbs up if you liked the video or you found it informative whatsoever. Hit subscribe if you want to follow along. We've got a lot more videos coming down the pipeline that we're working on right now. So you might find something else you want to hang out for. We do all kinds of stuff, install and reviews, cars, upgrades, performance upgrades, travel videos, hobby videos. So you might find something else on the channel you want to stick around for. I always appreciate you guys being here. Let's jump to it. So like I was saying, in today's video, we're focusing on the D600 Pro model. And they have sent over their hardwire kit. Comes with everything you need, instructions, show you how to use the fuse taps to get into your fuse box, the power module here that will limit the power to the camera. We'll go into more detail about all that. We'll drag out everything out the bag and the box and see what we got. But here's what we've got in our kit so far. Alrighty, so here's everything that came in the hardwire kit. So you have your main power adapter here. You got pretty good instructions again that show you all the different features and why this hardwire kit exists. Is for the 24/7 parking mode. It's got the low voltage protection, so you can set this whether you want it to cut off at different voltage inputs so you don't accidentally drain your battery, leave your battery dead and can't crank your car. It shows all the different fuse types, your fuse taps and what they're for, and it goes ahead and shows you about how to install it in the vehicle. So pretty good instructions. And then on the other side, it goes ahead and shows you further information about installing. On this one, I've seen these kits a little bit differently. You've got an accessory tap and a constant voltage tap, and then your ground as well. And then you've got two sets of fuse taps here. So you've got one again for your accessories and your constant power, and then here's the other set here. So we'll show you in more detail how this works out on the truck that we're installing it in. It might be a little different for your car, but they've included all kinds of different fuse setups here, micro blades, different blade settings, and the regular fuse taps. And they've included the fuses already pre-installed for you, so you're good to go there. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure you've got your direction where the power's coming in on the left side, going through the fuse, and then back through into your fuse box, and then it goes out through the wire to power the camera. If If you get this reversed, the fuse won't do what it's supposed to if it blows out. So make sure you've got that. But we'll take a look in the truck and show you what I'm talking about in a second. But yeah, really good kit. All the information, everything you need. And so let's go ahead. And of course, we'll pull the dash cam out in a second once we get to that step. But we've got to get our fuse tester and power tester and go take a look at the truck. All right, so we're looking under the hood of my Dodge Ram, 2017 Ram. Of course, yours might be different than this, but they all should be pretty similar. You can see I've got my fuse box here. We've got all of our fuse layout charts and designations. And then you can see I already have one of these wire taps right here for, I have my daytime running lights on my fog lights down here on the bottom hooked to one, and I also have my radar detector hooked to it and hardwired in. So it will automatically cut both of those on when you turn the truck on. So we've got our little circuit tester here. It's hooked up to our negative on our battery. And then if we come through here and we push it on some of these, you'll see that this one is live right now. It's got constant power on. If we move to the next one, that one does not. So that's a switched only fuse. And then we go further down the line. You can see that one comes on. That one is off. You can see the little, hopefully you can see it, little metal tabs that come through the top. So you just want to poke right there on one of those. And so you can see which ones light up and have constant power and which ones do not. So then you have to kind of figure out which one you want to tap into. Now this one, I've got a 10 amp fuse in here, and it is a spare fuse according to my designation on my chart. So I don't have to worry about anything blowing if this fuse blows out or there's a short or something and it impacting anything important on the truck. So you want to make sure your vehicle, whichever one you tap into, don't tap into something important. So if there's a short in what you're working on, or the camera, or like my daytime running lights, radar detector, anything else, and I happen to cause a problem and blow a fuse, you don't want to blow a fuse for your airbags or your brakes or something to do with safety or something important on the vehicle. So always make sure you're using something that if there was a problem, it wouldn't cause a bigger problem. So since I already have two going through this with this 10 amp fuse, I'm going to find another spare location and tap into it and get that done, and then come back and show you what we've got. All right, guys, so we made some progress. Don't let it scare you. I know it looks a little bit of a mess at the moment, but what we ended up doing was, this is the constant battery on fuse for our power outlet inside the vehicle. So if that were to blow, or there was a problem or a short like I was mentioning, wouldn't be the end of the world. You might lose a cell phone charger or something that you might have plugged into one of the power outlets inside. So nothing major there. So we've tapped into there for our constant battery, and that's working fine. And then we've got our other fuse over here for our switched AC power is hooked to the upfitter's fuse. Now again, this might be completely different for your vehicle, but for mine, I checked this chart and all of my fuse slots and everything to find something that I could piggyback onto that would not be the end of the world if something happened to it. And that is for like accessories and things hooked to the vehicle, which I do not have any. So I felt confident that I could tap into that one as well. So we've got all that. We've got our master ground where our wire and harness for the fuse box and everything is tapped over here to the side. I'll clean all this up, but it's all hooked up and we tested it out and it's working fine. So I'll show you now. So we've got our vehicle switched on at the moment. It's not running, of course, but we've got it switched on, and you can see we've got our constant power light is lit up and our accessory light is lit up. So if we cut the vehicle off again, that will stay lit up and our accessory power will go off. If we hook the camera up now, I can get it. There we go.
Start recording.
Comes on. I've got the protective covering over the front of it until we get it installed inside the vehicle, but it comes right on and works just like it's supposed to. So again, you can go into settings in the app or on the camera and turn this into the 24/7 parking mode, and it will monitor your vehicle and the surroundings for you. And this has built-in battery protection, so you can change the voltage that it drops off and cuts off. If it senses the battery's getting too low, it'll automatically cut everything off, so it'll save your battery, won't come out to a dead vehicle. All right, so the next step we got to do is obviously get the wire through the firewall and into the truck so we can plug up the camera and install it and make everything nice and neat. So your vehicle might be a little bit differently, but since I've already installed one of these wire taps for my radar detector, I have gone through the firewall right here because nothing else goes through this plate. So I drilled a little hole and I ran the wire right through here. Now you could go through some of these other areas where the master wiring harness is, and that's a rubber boot and whatnot. Just be very, very cautious or careful where you decide to run this, because the last thing you want to do is try to poke a hole through this rubber boot and end up cutting one of the master wires, and then you'll have a mess on your hands trying to get that fixed. So that's why I chose this spot, because nothing else was there. I unscrewed this plate, drilled a hole through it, and ran my wire through it. So now I'm gonna see if I can fish this one through on the inside, and then we'll be one step closer. All right, so we jump back in the garage for just a second to show you what comes in the camera box. So again, this is the D600 Pro. It's 2-channel camera, 4K out the front, 1080 rear facing camera here. Here is your regular cigarette lighter or power outlet adapter for the camera, so we will not need that with this Hardwire kit. So that saves you having an extra wire stretched across your dash or in front of your radio or wherever you might be there. So we won't be needing that. Here's our rear camera interface. It plugs right into the main camera, and then it's got plenty of wire to get you to where you want to go. They include some of these little clips, stick-on clips that you can put on the glass or the windshield to help keep the cables nice and tight if you need to, depending on where you mount it. And then a couple of double-sided sticky tapes in case you need to pull it off, or if it comes off or you need to reposition it for whatever reason. You got a few spare. But you also have your trim panel tool here, so this will help you kind of pry off the trim just a little bit, or create a space or a gap where you can snake this wire through. So this is what we're going to grab and go show you now that we've got our wire through the firewall, and we're going to get it nice and clean and installed, and then we're going to tackle this rear view camera. So back out at the truck, I'll show you what we got so far. So again, we've got our wires in the fuse box and everything in our ground. We've got it snaked over here behind the battery just temporarily until we clean everything up. And here's where you can see it going through the firewall. Now that box that controls the voltage and the camera power is inside the vehicle. Depending on your setup, it might be on this side, or you may have to purchase some extra wire, or potentially a USB-C cord extender or extension to get it to where you need to go. So we'll jump inside the truck. So you can see we've got the power cable just kind of temporarily stuck in the trim up top, and then it runs all the way down the side. We're going to clean this up, and if we look under here, I think, yeah, you can see the daylight right through the little hole there where we have our wire fed. Now you want to make absolutely sure that any wires that you do run up here don't interfere with any of your pedals, your emergency brake, your gas, anything like that, or any other wiring. So make sure you got it all tucked up out of the way and it doesn't interfere. But we've got our wire started under the dash over here on the side and into this trim, and then we can just run it right up below, or excuse me, behind this trim piece. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. And we're going to tuck it back behind here and run it all the way up the side until we get to right here. So let me do that now, and I'll show you just how clean that looks. So you can see where I have the wire coming out just right here, and the box is right up under here. I probably will have a little bit of slack that I can pull that box back out of the way, but then we've got it run right up the trim, right behind it. And on my particular vehicle, there's a channel back behind here that the wire will tuck into, and everything still sits down really flush, clean all the way through all the way down the side till we get to right up here. Let me change the views. So you can see again, I've got it tucked back behind the trim here. It goes all the way up to the top to where this trim piece meets the seal on the door, and I've got it tucked back behind there, and then it comes out around the top, and we can run it pretty much by hand the rest of the way through the headliner. Now, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. It's probably gonna fall down. Now, this particular truck, zoomed out so you can see a little bit better. On this particular truck, I already have my radar detector right here mounted and hardwired in. And depending on how much cord you have, again, I was saying you might have to get a USB extension if this isn't long enough for you. In our case, it's fine. And it kind of depends on the camera you're using too. So again, we've got the D600 Pro that they've sent us. And so if you since this is a 2-channel camera, we can mount it up here at the top, and it's fine because it's just going to record out the front. We have plenty of slack. If you had a 3-channel camera that was recording the interior, you may want to mount it more in the middle where it's got a better view for that internal camera to capture everything inside and straight out the front. But that's really up to you, how much slack you've got in your cord and where you want to do it. For us right now, we're just going to put it right up here next to the radar detector so we can get it wired up and test it out. All right, and there it is, all installed and tucked away. So the only wire, now don't pay attention to my wire for my radar detector over here, but the only wire that's sticking out is this little piece right here. So it, depending on your placement, again, whether or not you mount it this high up or below the mirror over here or whatnot, for your specific situation, you may have a little bit of extra wire, and you could use those clips that I showed you in the kit to have it stick to the windshield and be nice and neat so it's not moving all around on you. But that's it. We've got it run across from our headliner down through the side and along the trim and all the way down to below the dash. And so just make sure again that your wires under the hood are all tucked away. They're not going to get caught on anything. Under your pedals and dashboard down here, there's no problems. But yeah, so now if we turn on our ignition,
start recording,
and there we are. It's working just fine, plugged in. You don't have to worry about any kind of plugs coming down here to your power outlets or anything else being stretched across your dash. So it's very clean install and out of the way, minimal wires. Now we just got to run our rear view camera to it and hook it up. So we'll plug right into the side here with our rear view, come up this same spot for our wire. We're going to come across the same spot for our headliner through here on this gap, and then we'll be able to follow this trim all the way back to the rear of the truck and mount our camera back here as well. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and we'll plug it up and see how it works. One more look at our rear view camera here. So again, it's got the sticky on it, the lens cover, and I'm not sure, I think they have a way if you mount this upside down, you can flip it in the software or in the app or settings. So you just might want to check your phone, go ahead and connect it before you mount it. You can pull this loose. They give you more sticky if you need to, adhesive tape. So you can check and see if you want to mount it this way or that way, whichever way is up. They give you more than enough wire to get to where you need to go to, and to make it a little easier, you can unhook this while you run your main wire, and then you can hook this back up once all is said and done. So we're going to go ahead and hook this to our camera, run it through our trim like we just showed you, and then get it to the back of the truck. And the rear camera is now installed as well. It plugs in right beside the main power on the side. We've got it run up to the headliner behind there, right down the trim piece, all the way through the weather stripping on the door, the seal, right across the top here, across this back door as well. And then we've got all of our excess wire tucked behind this pillar back here in the back. And then it runs along the track by the headliner. And there is our rear view camera mounted. So everything, all that you can see is this one little piece of wire, and everything else is nice and neat and tucked away. Can't even tell it's there. Looks like factory and works like a charm. So that was a mission success, and everything's plugged up and working just fine. And with that, we're all done with another install video, the hardwire kit for the GKU D600 or any of their cameras, as a matter of fact. It was super easy to install, didn't take long at all. Once you use your circuit tester and kind of figure out which fuses you need to tap into, the rest of it's straightforward. Hope you picked up some tips and tricks from the video that might help ease your install if you decide to do this. It's super clean, keeps all the wires tucked away. It's a lot nicer and neater than having to plug it into the power outlet and route wires, or having them draped over the dash and in front of everything and in the way. So definitely recommend having the hardwire kit to solve that problem. And plus, if you want to do the 24/7 parking monitoring or outside of the vehicle, or have it cut on and off, that's the way to go to do that. You can change all the settings in the app and on the camera if you need to. Their app is super good. I know some of these things have apps that just don't work well, but that is not the case with GKU. We've tested it out now on this one, the D700 and the D1000, and all three of them, they work seamlessly. You connect wirelessly to it, and you're up and running in no time. You can pull video clips from it. You can change settings and all that stuff that you need to do, and it works great. So no problems there whatsoever. Again, budget-friendly cameras. They don't cost a ton. You can get one for your particular situation or scenario, and save some money on some of the higher price cameras out there. And they do the job. They're very easy to be up and running. Whether you do the hardwire kit or just plug it in, you can be up and running, in a matter of minutes. But yeah, I'll leave those links down below if you want to check those videos out for more details. Huge shout out once again to GKU. They've been great to me with these cameras and sending them to us to test and show you all the details and everything. Great company to have communication back and forth. They always answer the emails if I have any questions or whatnot. So check them out. I'll leave all the links to these products and the other ones down below for you to check out. See if you want to pick up one for yourself. And consider following along with the channel. We do stuff like this all the time, reviews and products and everything else. We do hobby videos, vacation and travel videos, performance videos and stuff like that. So you may find something else you want to stick around for. So consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video or found any helpful information. If you got any questions, drop them down below. I try to answer everybody's questions that I possibly can. So leave those down below if you want to. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bye.